How damaging is it for Drake?
It's super damaging.
The YTfiles. Welcome to the YTfiles. It's your favorite host, Miss Spyglass. I've got some wild files for you today, the best of what I've uncovered from the depths of YouTube. Grab your popcorn, because we're about to dive into some craziness, and with my eye, I spy something you won't believe.
Turning to the Super Bowl one last time before we say goodbye, and a feud that everyone's talking about, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick brought out his Drake diss track, Not Like Us, to the Super Bowl halftime show. But why is this rap feud unlike any other? I'm joined by rapper and DJ Lord Jamar to break down the feud. Lord Jamar, great to have you back on Uncensored.
Thank you, Pierce.
For those who have no idea what any of this is about, in very simple terms, what is this feud about?
Well, I guess it's about rap dominance, rap superiority. You know, who's going to be at the top of the pile? Who's going to be number one? It started back when Drake and J. Cole made a record together, and they alluded to themselves as being, the biggest in the business. And they actually mentioned something about the Super Bowl. In turn, Kendrick Lamar got on a song with a rapper named Future, and he addressed Drake and J. Cole's comments. After that, diss record started going around. A few people started making diss records. J. Cole made a record, and then he wisely dropped out of the feud, and we don't even really remember him in it right now, which seemed to be a pretty smart move for him. So then Drake and Kendrick started going back and forth, and then once Kendrick came with the Not Like Us record, it was all over. Game over, knockout, and we haven't heard from Drake since.
I mean, he calls him in the lyrics of the original version. He didn't say this on stage yesterday. He calls him a pedophile. I mean, that's what's been the most contentious point. I mean, that's an incredibly damaging thing to say about someone.
Absolutely. And to say it in so many different ways, one of the biggest lines in the song is, probably struck a chord and it's probably A minor, the double entendre of he said it in A minor, but then he's talking about A minor, like a child, was just brilliant. Actually, he was also wearing a chain at the Super Bowl, I don't know, with a small A with an A minor on his chain. I don't know if people caught that.
Why is Drake not responding properly to this? If that was me, I'd go nuts.
Well, he did try to respond. I think he was going to file a lawsuit. He wanted to sue Universal or something like that, which would be a first in the history of diss records. In hip hop, you're supposed to have a thick skin if you get into a rap battle with somebody. If you lose, you're supposed to just go away and lick your wounds and come back later. But this guy actually accused Universal or whatever of basically pressing the button as these big record companies are able to do. He feels like they pressed the button for Kendrick to make that song, be what it became. And they didn't do it for him, and he got mad.
I mean, Drake has emphatically denied, obviously, that any suggestion that he's a pedophile. But in the diss world, for those who are not that au fait with it, is taking things to that extreme, even if there's no evidence to support what you're saying. Is that perfectly normal?
Yeah, in rap battles, all kind of things could be said. Rap battles have gotten more pretentious over the years. People really have taken the gloves off, and so any type of any low-hanging fruit is fair game, basically.
What about Kendrick's actual performance? I mean, I like him. I think he's incredibly talented. I actually met him last summer at an English football match, actually, and he was a really nice guy to meet. A lot of criticism that it's quite a niche act, probably for a Super Bowl audience, both in the stadium who seemed a bit lukewarm, but also the 100 million or so watching at home. You know, was he an appropriate choice, do you think, to be a Super Bowl halftime act, or was it slightly jarring?
You know, it all depends on which way you're looking at it. Was he an appropriate act as far as he brought massive amounts of eyes to the Super Bowl? You know, we were going to watch it anyway, but many people wanted to see this particular performance. Did he deliver entertainment-wise the way that we're used to at a Super Bowl? No. You know, we're used to, you know, singers and real dancers and all kinds of, you know, his performance doesn't lend itself to that. You know, I don't know if there's a lot of rappers that have shows like that, you know, where they can just do a Super Bowl thing by himself. I mean, it was nice when he brought SZA out there. But yeah, for me, the whole thing was kind of lackluster. Although, you know, he's very cerebral, so he tried to put little Easter eggs in there. You know, the people forming the American flag. That was him trying to say, like, you know, Black people helped to make up this country. Then he had the small A, the A minor. Then he brings out Drake's ex-girlfriend, Serena Williams, to do a little crip walk out there. And then finally the whole stage was shaped like a PlayStation controller. PlayStation is owned by Sony, and Sony is the one that puts out Drake. So all these little Easter eggs that he had, you know, that's cool, but at the time when you're performing, that really doesn't translate, you know?
No, I think 98%.
It's good conversation now.
The truth is 98% of the audience would have had no idea what any of that meant.
Exactly, yeah.
So he was true to himself. But, I mean, I was watching the other day the Michael Jackson halftime performance, which kind of kick-started the whole big show at the Super Bowl. And it was just on a completely different level of entertainment to a mainstream audience. I mean, there's no doubt.
Even his costume choice, I gotta say, like, I wasn't happy with the oversized leather jacket and the bell-bottom jeans. I don't know who styled him, who said this is what you should wear for your Super Bowl performance, but I just feel like, you know, we're used to people like Usher and, you know, Beyonce, and it's just a bigger, more pomp and circumstance, and the way that they even dress for a Super Bowl performance is just.
But wait, there's more.
And how damaging, finally, Lord Jamar, how damaging was this for Drake in that his biggest rival, who's written this song, which was just lauded at the Grammys as the greatest song of the year, plays it at the Super Bowl with 100 million people watching, and it's just a direct assault on you. How damaging is it for Drake?
I mean, I think it's super damaging. This was like Kendrick's crowning achievement. See, the symbolism here is Kendrick represents grassroots hip hop, whereas Drake represents a corporate creation. And usually the corporate creation wins, just like usually the Democratic Party wins with whatever they say. But we are in a certain place politically and mentally where people are, you know, going with what they really want. So the people wanted Trump, and the people actually wanted Kendrick. So to see Kendrick win, you know, it's just very satisfying for a lot of people that say they love real hip hop.
Final nail in Drake's rap rival coffin?
Now, hang on. We do live in a time where people's attention span is very short.
Yeah.
And if Drake just waits this out, it might be a while, but if he waits this out, he could be one hit away from being right back on people's radar. So I wouldn't count him out fully. He still has a big machine behind him, but it's going to be very, very difficult for him to come back from this.
Well, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on all of the latest finds. And remember, with my eye, I spy even more files waiting for us to uncover, so don't miss the next episode.